Hey guys. Hey guys, that's improvised, of course. Okay, there's the sound. We are simulcasting on YouTube and Brax.me right now. And hold on while I bring myself up here on Periscope so I can see your comments. Hold on a second. There we go. So many things got to do now, so it's kind of crazy. Okay, now I can see everything. composer wants residuals. Well, guess who the composer is? Hello, Zach, and I saw Dana. Guess who the composer is? Can you guess? This is the game I gotta play nowadays. I gotta play a Zucking game, guys. Make sure that the music is not recognizable. Your background is my house. What the heck? Yes. Okay, so I just noticed that if I go this way, then I have different lighting. Wow, that's very strange. If I move back, so I gotta move forward now. This is why I was getting different lighting. I was trying to understand. Because if I move forward, a different light lands on my face. Why am I black and white? Because that's what I was trying to figure it out. If I back up like that, then I guess different colored lights in the house. So we'll solve that. If you think I'm pale, yesterday you said, you know, I was like, what do you call this? You either say I'm pale or you say I'm sunburned. So it's like, Zuck, make up your Zucky minds. You tell me what the situation is. Okay, hold on. Easily fixed here. Easily fixed. Just I just need glasses to do this because it's very small. Very small. I'm trying to do this with like 4K resolution and it's hard. Okay, so there. So we'll give a little bit more skin color there. Okay, there. And I may have to adjust that again later. There. And then later you're gonna say, you look like you look like you're sunburned. Periscope has gone nuts. Why has Periscope gone nuts? Have a drink, your face will turn red. So welcome, folks. Welcome, and we have a interesting topic tonight. Again, we're focusing on Google here. The last few days, I've been working with YouTube. For some of you who don't know what's up, we're trying to simulcast with YouTube. So I'm on YouTube right at this moment, and also on BraxMe and here on Periscope. And the objective is to see if we can successfully broadcast to these two platforms, so I can build my following on YouTube. And I recommend any other scoper who wants to use this, you can use it on BraxMe. All you have to do is upgrade your account to level 1 social vision, and I can give you a coupon code if you are a Periscope VIP. If you are not a VIP, you can get 7 days free trial on it. If you're a VIP, you can have it for free. And some of you already took advantage of that, so take advantage of it. It's free. And it allows you to simultaneously broadcast on Periscope, Twitch, YouTube, and BraxMe. I see screen moving. Yes, don't worry about that, Great Gold. Don't concern yourself with that. If you want to get concerned, then I will move my body there. Now you don't have to be concerned. Okay? Too many, tiny little complaints, like constant. It's like difficult. It's like, I know there are imperfections here. It's very difficult because I got to do this at nighttime. And when it's nighttime, I'm about ready to scope. And I got to eat in between. And then I got to test the lighting. The lighting changes as any outside effective light affects everything I do in here. So that's why it's very, very difficult. So I can't tweak it, in advance. Thank you, Holistic Deb. Thank you. Hello, Emma Deer. Emma Deer scares me. She has weapons. Emma Deer has weapons. Be careful with Emma Deer. She'll cause her a problem and she'll blast you away. You have one hair out. I have no hair. What are you talking about? Hello, Lulu. Zuckum looks good. Thank you, Mario. Best test time is 3 to 6 a.m. I am just gone to bed by 3 to 6 a.m. I do, yes, Emma dear. My weapons here are very minor compared to yours. yours are much better than mine. Well, we don't know that. How I play keyboard. Your nose is a little red and lamp is too bright. What else? What else do I have to worry about? It's like if I put too much lighting, then it's too bright. So I actually had to turn down the lighting. Bang, damage control. I had to turn down the lighting, and it's very difficult here. It's just house lighting plus some new umbrella lights I put in. It actually made it worse. We're just teasing. Don't worry. Okay, so we are going to talk broadcast died for you. Bring it back to life, Johnny. I don't have a Glock. Please want a model. I'm playing with you, Mr. Hottie. Thank you, Holistic Deb. You're the hottie, Holistic Deb. I'm just a nobody. So thank you, Holistic Deb. Evil YouTube. We're gonna talk about evil YouTube. Well, actually, YouTube. It's funny. Can't make everyone happy. Yes. Evil YouTube is actually, surprisingly, not as evil as I would have figured. I'm going to tell you right now. Here's the good news. You would like the good news first, right? The good news is that Facebook is more evil. Facebook is more evil. This is not a real gun. This is not a real gun, Lulu. It's not a real gun. Does this look like a real gun to you? Well, it's not. Brax Live is evil. Brax Live is awesome. Okay, so we surprisingly, as we will find out, that there's some things about YouTube that's actually not too bad, and if we understand the algorithms and AI and the tricks they play, then maybe we can enjoy it without. Okay, I won't, Paco Porras. If you say so, I won't. Welcome, Jif. My girlfriend saw the porn in my cell and dumped me. Zuck, you deserve to be dumped. Sweet J Verb. So anyway, so what if it's a gun? It's Rob's house and scope. He can do as he pleases. Well, it's not a real gun in any case. So the good news is that YouTube, there's still some things that you got to understand about it, and if you understand, how to control some of this, and some of it's going to be a little bit of an experiment, and we're actually going to see if we can do it live, which is going to be hard, and then we can see, if YouTube is in fact tracking us, profiling us, or if it's not. Some of you have conducted experiments, like Enlighten Up said that she reinstalls YouTube and it seems to reset. And to an extent, that's actually correct. And I will explain that because I actually tried it, and I can now explain what's happening to that. Hello, George. This is more normal. What's your name on YouTube? Please follow me on YouTube. My name on YouTube is Brax Me. BRAX space me. Please follow me on YouTube. Brax Me. I'm broadcasting YouTube right now. I can see comments on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, I can see the comments, and I need to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. It'll take me a zucking year. Will take me a zucking year to get there. And I also need 4,000 hours of watch time on YouTube. That's gonna be 4,000 hours. I think I'm up to 9 hours. Maybe, by today, maybe it'll be 10 hours. So it'll be, so it'll be forever. 4,000 hours. That's going to take a while. Okay, so in the meantime, we'll just keep going and be broadcasting on both. And then hopefully someday someone will discover me on YouTube. I will give you some watch time. Thank you, Holistic Deb. Thank you so much. Holistic Deb, come join me on Brax.me, and I will give you a coupon code, and you can do restreaming for free because you are a gold VIP. Plus, we want your company. We want your company on Brax.me. I was $199. Why 4,000? That's the requirement. They said if you want to do monetization on YouTube, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of viewing time a year. Yeah, I hope I can figure it out though how to use it. You will. You mean the restreaming? The restreaming requires that you know how to use OBS. If you know how to use OBS, it's easy. If you don't know how to use OBS, then there's a little bit of a learning curve. Okay. Hello. Some of us are loyal. Thank you. Thank you. Trying to Ulas. I added you on YouTube. Okay. So if you see what happened now, now my face changed again. It's sucking OBS here or Streamlabs. It's changing my colors constantly. I don't understand why. So now I got to back up now. Loyal as church members. I didn't get a thank you, Monkey Man. Thank you. I was 199. Oh, you're subscriber number 1. That's what you meant. Yes, you're Rex, sir. So yeah, so OBS. I'm using Streamlabs right now. There's two products you can use. One is called OBS and one is called Streamlabs OBS. Streamlabs OBS can insert comments from different platforms such as YouTube. Holy crap, now I got 2 of you. Video in is a little bit more clear on here. Yes, YouTube quality is higher than Periscope. That's part of the transcoding issue that you got to deal with. Yeah, YouTube quality is higher. So if you have the capability, meaning if you have good internet, YouTube will give you a better signal. Periscope tends to be a single level. It says I have to create a channel to comment on YouTube. Really? I insert squash? You mean my face isn't enough? It seems to be working without any kind of squash. So we'll keep it going without squash for a moment. Then when the time comes, we'll put the squash in. Right, George? Okay, so back to what I'm saying. Back to what I'm saying about YouTube. Here's the squash for you. There. Now I got to move my face. Now I got to move myself up. Move the squash in here. So many things to manipulate. It's tricky to do live. So many things to do. You have to be very careful when you say what? You have to be very careful what you say. You mean on YouTube? Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you that if you are using a browser to go to YouTube, there's certain things you got to go prepare for, because YouTube does track you. And actually, I will run YouTube here in a second, and I will try first without any kind of account. I'm going. Squash is working. Well, I'm going to lose the squash because I'm going to go switch to PC view. So I'm going to lose the squash, but I don't think you want squash in front of you. Well, it works. Whatever works. Squash equals 22 plus viewers. Yes. So yeah, squash works. Don't ask me why it works, but you know, squash is definitely, you know, reliable. Squash does the job. Why it does the job, I have no idea, but there it is. There it is. Humanity. Have cookies turned off on iPad and don't use Safari as a browser. Okay, so a few little tricks you got to do to kind of prep for this, and I will actually show you that my browser's prepped for this. I'm running any browser. I'm on a computer. I'm running Chrome and Firefox in my example. I'm running Chrome and Firefox, and in Chrome and Firefox, I have the following software loaded. One, I have to make sure that I'm not on Google search. So my search engine is DuckDuckGo. And then on top of that, aside from DuckDuckGo, so if you want to know how to make DuckDuckGo your search engine, just type DuckDuckGo on the browser, and it will give you an option to add it to your browser, and then you add the extension, and then you're all set to go. Okay, so and then all your searches will now go to DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo doesn't track your search activity. Next, this is search. Understand what we're going to talk about. I don't use Chrome nor Firefox. Well, I didn't tell you that, and like, no, I told you to use all of them. It's actually not smart to not use Chrome or Firefox, because if you're going to Google, Google is Chrome. So why would you give them more information on some other browser? Give them what they want. DuckDuckGo. Okay, so DuckDuckGo on my browser. Next, this is very important, guys. Very important. Go to EFF.org, EFF.org, and install Privacy Badger. And because as it turns out, a lot of things that go on in Google has to do with a lot of things that will affect us on Google will actually be related to the kind of tracking that they do with respect to trackers, tracking JavaScripts on Google from advertising companies. So you gotta worry about that. Okay, EFF.org. Install what again? Privacy Badger. Laura, Privacy Badger. Please refrain from posting links without permission. My moderation is working. My moderation is working on YouTube. It says, please, if you type Privacy Badger, can you type FBI, Laura? I want to see what happens. Does it let you type FBI? I need to be added as a moderator to remove message. You can do this by EFF.org. Okay, try FBI. I want to see what happens. I want to see if the moderation... It lets FBI in, Zuck. It doesn't stop you? It doesn't give you a warning from FBI, Zuck. It's not working. Okay, not working. I gotta go figure out why that's not working. But that's supposed to be blocked over there. What the Zuck, Johnny? President Trump? That's not a block term. That's not a block term. Okay, so I'm going to flip the screen here and show you a browser version here. Hold on. I'm going to go to the browser. And I have a browser here on YouTube. So, and this one is not logged in. Hello, Yo-Yo. How old are you, Yo-Yo? You're claiming me as a dad, and maybe, how old are you? You could be 50 years old for all I know. Okay, Agent WD-40. Okay, so what I have here is I just cleared the cookies on this. This is brand new, fresh, and not signed in. There's a Privacy Badger over there, and this is EFF.org. I'm gonna go to the website so that you see it, EFF.org. Go to that, oops. This is important, you gotta do this. But it only works on Chrome and Firefox. And there you go, EFF.org. Well, I didn't want to go to YouTube. Hold on. I didn't want to go to YouTube, EFF.org. I want to go to the website. This is going to impact this. And then go to Tools, and then there's Privacy Badger. This is the one you need to install. Yes, George. That is correct. Okay, install Privacy Badger. I've already installed it, but you just click on that and it will install it. Okay, so we're not going to do it again because we just did it. So there's Privacy Badger, and you install that. It will only install on Firefox and Chrome. It will not install on Safari. On mobile, what you do is install a Brave browser. So if you're on mobile, just install Brave browser. Do not use Safari or Chrome on mobile. use Brave browser because you cannot install this. I don't know. I haven't tried installing EFF. Privacy Badger on Android. Somebody can tell me. I did not try it today. I didn't have time, but somebody can try to see if you can install the Privacy Badger on Chrome on mobile. But if you have Safari, you can't install this. You can use Brave if you're mobile. Okay, Brave on mobile. If you're on a computer, you can use Firefox or Chrome. Okay, which is what I'm using here. Brave browser is for again, the specific thing I'm telling you is to use it for mobile. Okay. That's when you're using DDG and Start Page and Lighten Up, you're probably using Firefox. Those are likely just plugins to Firefox, so you're not actually doing anything different. Have you got to the part as to why to do this? Well, not yet. I'm just do it, and then you will find out later on when I just want to give you the basics so you understand what we're going to do. Okay? If you don't understand the basics of this, then I don't want to have to come back and re-explain it to you. Okay, we're going to go to YouTube now. Okay, now I'm not signed into YouTube. Now, this is interesting to see. What does it recommend when you're a new user? So we're going to scan through this, and you're going to have to memorize what we see here. So I see trending, I see vines, I see cooking, I see tech, cartoons, JRE clips. Now, I for a moment I said, why am I seeing JRE clips? I thought maybe this was something to do with trying to mark me as conservative. But I tried on different devices with different users, and this looks like a standard reference. Okay, this is a standard reference. It seems to be on every computer here. So there's it's pretty generic, as you can see. It's pretty generic, except for this Joe Rogan thing here. It's mostly generic. I'm not seeing anything that seems to specifically identify me. Again, I've tried different computers, and it seems like this is about the same. Everyone seems to get this as a recommendation. Okay? So nothing in here. Now, I did go to EFF.org, so it might affect that, but so far, I don't see anything that relates to EFF.org at the moment. These seems to be, I looked at it today, this seems to be, it's changing a little bit, but approximately about the same kind of stuff appears. So this is, at the moment, we're going to conclude that I haven't been profiled. It's just giving me generic clips of every kind to see if I can like anything in here. So it's pretty broad, and it's not forcing itself on me, okay? So it's a little bit different when I log in. Okay, so that's generic YouTube. So far, nothing yet. Just the only thing that I clicked on is EFF.org, so I'm wondering if I see anything related to that. At the moment, none. Okay, so there we go. YouTube is pretty plain vanilla here, and there's no recommendations that I need to be concerned about, meaning it's not tracking me in any kind of a way, okay? Oops. I didn't mean to click on that. Now it's going to start profiling me here. Okay, now this is how we're going to do this. We're going to specifically look at things of one side. Okay, so I'm going to go look at CNN. Okay, we're going to look at CNN. Okay, and I'm going to go to the CNN page. Okay, you're just going to do a rush thing in here. And then we're going to go to some political things on CNN. All this anti-Trump thing on CNN, we're going to go click on that. It's got to be specific. I want to specifically go to things that are, anti-Trump to see what it does, okay? So I don't have to watch a lot of it, just click on it. Okay? Hopefully I'm clicking on the right things. So now, I don't know if I'm clicking on the right stuff, so we're going to add Pelosi in here. So we're going to look at Pelosi. Some of you may like what I'm doing here. Some of you may hate what I'm doing here. this is what you got to do to go figure it out. So, okay, so I'm going to, you know, click on some of these, watch it for a few seconds, go to the next one. Oops, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, it's Zuck. I messed up. I went to Fox. I didn't want to go to Fox. I did not want to go to Fox. Now it's screwed up here. I want to only go to CNN. Okay, I didn't mean to go to Fox. Now it's going to affect my profile here. I tried this, by the way, earlier, so... Okay. Nancy Pelosi questions Trump's manhood. Okay, that's good. Okay. What else? Now let's go to George Soros. Let's go to Soros. Okay. George Soros. Okay, so let's see. Especially anything. Okay, New York Times. That's good. Okay. I guess I got to go through the ad here, or it will not may not give me credit if I don't actually see the video. Okay, I got to see a little bit of the video. Okay, now let's see. CNN. There we go. CNN. Okay, so there you go. Okay, now I want to see if that's enough. Maybe I have to go to Maxine Waters too. But let's just stop here for a moment. I'm now going to see if my recommendation changes. Okay, now I'm getting recommendations. Okay, you see all this recommendations? Okay, so it's starting to profile me now. Starting to profile me. I'm seeing something here about some anti-Trump stuff in here. Okay, let me go some more and see. It should recommend some sites. Not much yet. I guess maybe it hasn't triggered yet. I don't know how long it takes, but I was doing it all day, and it actually did start to recommend things to me here in the bottom. Okay, so just so far it's only shown me at the top. So it's fairly limited at the moment. Maybe I didn't search enough. Should I look at Michael Moore? Okay, hold on. Maybe I'm not doing enough. Okay, let's do Michael Moore. Okay, yeah, I messed up because I clicked on a Fox. Maybe that confused it. I confused the AI. This is kind of fun, guys. This is like, you know, if you understand how they do this, then you can maybe take some precautions. But you got to understand how it's done. So, spelling doesn't matter. It come up. The spelling doesn't matter. Now I got to go watch the Zucking ads. It's just irritating. Okay. The screen is too small on the thing on. I don't see the whole screen here on. Okay, so now I'm going to see if our recommendations. It's why is my screen not showing completely? Hold on. So I'm going to see my recommendations if it changes. I'm seeing some Christmas recommendations here. Trending. If I can't get it to trigger in the time that I'm doing this, I will tell you what actually happened. Because I already tried this. Okay, there's some technical issues here. I'm not, the screen is too small. I don't know why. I guess because my resolution has to be adjusted. So let me change my screen resolution and let's see if this makes any difference here. Hold on, changing my screen resolution. Okay, can you see that better? We see what happens here. No? Jeez. Okay. I'm not seeing the screen resolution change. Okay, which is actually good for later. Just look at the upper corner in here, and I'll try to explain. So what happens is, as you start clicking on it, and I did this all day, and I can tell you what is actually happening. As I did this all day, what it did was start to show recommendations on the left side. I mean, on the it started to recommend things that clearly related to what I was clicking on. As it turns out, so look at the recommended. Well, you can't see it, so I'm gonna move this over a little bit. Okay, as it turns out, when you start using it for a while, the recommendations start to relate to your selections. So maybe I confused it because I accidentally clicked on Fox News. But as it turns out, if you start here, they're starting to show some political stuff here in the bottom. Stand-up comedy. There seems to be anti-Trump. Yep. Okay. It's just starting to show up here. Yeah. Okay. So the recommendations are changing now. It's starting to indicate a preference here. Slowly, because I may not have done enough, but it's starting to change and it's starting to profile me. It's very interesting how quickly they do this. Okay, so now clearly it's starting to recognize that I like watching certain things on the left. Okay, so it's not strong enough because I haven't done enough of it, but it's starting to do that. Okay, now here's what we're going to do now. Remember, I'm not logged in. I'm not logged in currently. Now what we're going to do is clear the cookies. So I'm going to go to settings, and we're going to clear cookies and history. Goodness, it's so hard to see here. The type is now so small. This is kind of stuff I can't easily test if I'm not live. Okay, history. Okay, here we go. History. Okay, I'm going to clear history. So this is all I clicked on. See how it tracked me? So these are all the stuff that I clicked on. It's all YouTube. There's the history that it's looking at. That's what it's using to make those selections. Oops. Okay. So that's what it's using to use the selections. As I said, my testing here right now is to make them think that I'm on the left. Okay, so now I'm going to clear all the browsing data. Going to clear it all, and I'm going to say clear from all time. So now it's completely gone. Now we're going to go back to YouTube and see what YouTube thinks. Okay, so here we are back to YouTube, and looks like we're back to generic again. Yeah. Okay, so YouTube is now presenting me with, again, a generic list, the same original generic list as before. Okay, I don't see anything here that indicates any kind of political bias based on my selection. Okay, so let me go back to my picture here, and we're gonna show you my face again, and then we're gonna talk about this. Okay, so what we've figured out here in this little experiment, is that the selections on YouTube's YouTube are entirely tied to cookies, at least as far as recommendations are concerned. YouTube videos recommendations are tied to cookies. Now, it doesn't mean that every click you make is stored in the cookie. That's not how it works. But based on what I can see here, it's taking my browser history. In my browser history, I'm not logged into Google. Understand this. I am not logged into Google. Mind you, you have to understand this. I am not logged into Google. Yet my browser has the history on it. Clearly, the history is also stored at Google. Let me repeat that because you may not get this. In order for them to process this data, Google has whatever is in Chrome. So all that history that I clicked on in Chrome is also stored on Google. Every time I click on Chrome or Firefox or any of this, Google takes it. So they have that. Then they assign an ID to it. The ID is the ID of that's stored in a cookie. This is the old way of doing it, and apparently they're still doing this. Okay, this is the old-fashioned way of doing tracking. Okay, so they store a number. They store a number on the cookie that says, okay, this device is user A123456. Okay, so this device that I'm on is A123456, and these are the search activity it did on the browser. So it found all my Google searches, and then they then processed that for the AI, and then they said, okay, we're now going to recommend things to you from YouTube. So now do you understand how this works? Again, I'm not logged in. So there's a temporary identifier stored in the cookie that identifies me since I'm not logged in. It then matches to what I do on YouTube, on the browser, and it's stored on Google. Google then uses that information to process to display what it's going to recommend on YouTube. Now, when I clear my cookies, the identifier is deleted. When I clear my cookies, the identifier is deleted. How do I delete serious suggested websites on my phone? I believe there's an option for that on there. The cookie does not require you to be logged in. Exactly. The cookie stores a temporary identifier, but if you clear the cookie, then it loses all the connected links because it doesn't know who you are. Now, fortunately, they're actually they seem to be actually respecting this. I did not expect that they would be doing this. I thought they would not respect this, and this is the part of the good news, is they are respecting the fact that when you clear the cookies, they are respecting that. Okay, at least to what's visible to us, they are respecting our privacy, so that when we are clearing it, they're saying, okay, we'll respect the fact that you want to clear it. One more thing. One more thing. Okay, no, I'm only telling you the good news. I haven't told you the bad news. Okay, this is just the good news part. Now, one more thing. In order for this to work for you, please do this on your let me go back to Chrome here. Hold on a second. What you need to do is go to your settings on Google. Let me see if I can bring up my settings in here. Hold on a second while I find it. Oh no, I have to be signed in. Maybe I'll do that later when I sign in. Okay, I'll do that later when I sign in, because I'm not signed in yet. Okay, so what we're gonna so this is what happens when you're not even signed in. They're still tracking you via those cookies, but so far they're respecting that. One of the things that I was worried about was what happens to what you do when you're not signed in. Do they connect it to whatever you did when you're signed in? So now they consider it as one big blob. Do they connect what you do when not signed in to when you sign in? That's the question. Partially, the answer is they do not connect it. Partially. Okay, and this is only with respect to one thing. When it comes to YouTube recommendations, they are not connecting it unless you enable history in your Google settings. One of the things you guys got to do is go to your privacy settings on Google. This applies to all of Google, and look at the history. You see there's a history button at the bottom of YouTube, the YouTube website. Go to the very, very bottom, and we'll look at history, and then you can clear your watch history, your search history and all that, your location history, and then one of the other options in there is to say pause it so it doesn't collect anymore. You also have to manually, as it turns out, you have to manually remove everything that you've searched for that did not get cleared. So you have to manually do that. It's the only way to get back to kind of a base. No, I don't mean just YouTube history. There's actually a global Google setting for anything you do on Google. It's called Google Privacy Settings. And they added this when GDPR started, and so far, at least when it comes to Google, the main Google, they are respecting that. So I guess they don't want to get sued in Europe, so they're giving you a way out. Okay, not correct. CD ORF. No, I use Chrome. I use Safari. No, I use all of them. Don't listen to Seedorf here. That is not correct. You have to understand the weakness of each browser. Is that on the YouTube app? No, it's a Google setting. You have to go to Google to do that, and it will apply to you, the YouTube app as well. Whatever you put in your Google global settings will apply to your login on YouTube. What about using a sandbox browser and delete often? You have to clear cookies, Kandavu. You have to clear cookies. Kind of silly to stop it. You end up with stupid videos. Whatever you say, Weefucan, whatever you say, if you're not concerned, don't be concerned. I'm not forcing you to be concerned. If you don't want to, if you want to be profiled, it's up to you. Okay? I'm not going to go force you, because I'm tired of trying to explain to people why this is important. If you care to be profiled so they know everything about you, that's fine with me. I don't really care. I don't really care. We will get into that, Seedorf. Okay, now, it's very difficult to show you, so I'm going to just tell you what happened to the next step here. The next step I did was log in to Google using my BraxMe. Please follow me on YouTube under the account BraxMe. I'm broadcasting. I don't like Google either, but Seedorf, I don't like Google either. That's not the point. The point is, if you use YouTube, you are using Google. Seedorf, you need a full cap soon. Whatever you say, Weefucan, if you're not concerned, then do whatever you want. I'm not going to go force you. Okay? Join all the other millennials. Join all the other millennials that don't care either. So Weefucan, you're acting like a millennial right now. So okay, you don't care. Don't care. I don't care either. I don't care about you. I care about me. Okay, I don't care about you. Why don't you go on Facebook too, Weefucan? Go on Facebook. Enjoy that too. Okay. Enjoy it. Go to Facebook. You're gonna say, "Oh yeah, I don't care either." Well, so neither do I. I don't care what you do. I care what I do. I care about the people who care. Okay. Now I'm listening for Periscope. Happy Zucking New Year, Elbow Smash. Okay. Now let's get into this now. I logged in to YouTube, so now it's a little bit different, because what I'm doing now is seeing if my activity from my non-logged in state is showing up on YouTube in my logged in state. The answer is yes. If I'm not logged in and then I log in to Google, will it know about the things I searched for when I was not logged in? The answer is yes. However, you can fix it. The answer is yes, because it's reading your browsing history. It's connecting the cookie to the browsing history, which is now connecting everything you do on the browser, regardless if you're logged in or not. This is why I went to my account on YouTube, and it's showing the things I searched for when I was not on YouTube. And the reason it showed me was because it was in my history. Okay? However, when I cleared my history, it no longer showed up in my new account. So, in other words, in kind of opposite of what Facebook is doing, Google is actually respecting a little bit of our privacy by saying, I mean, in your apparent perception of this, they're saying that they respect your privacy. Whether they actually are or aren't is the next issue. But at least when it comes to recommendations of YouTube videos, it is doing that. Now, if you don't want to be identified and profiled on what you're doing on YouTube, because you're watching all these people of naked movies and naked whatever on YouTube, and you don't want to be profiled for that, well, I would say use browser isolation. Use a different browser and do it on there, and don't log in and clear cookies when you're done. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Okay, now this is a very, very important feature. Very, very important thing to know. The option for Privacy Badger. This is the thing that is really the bad news here. Now we're gonna get into a little bit of the bad news. Okay, and Lightning Up said, I deleted the cookies. I deleted the app, reinstalled the app, which in essence deletes the cookies and gives you an app with clear cookies, and you think you're safe. Okay, now I'm going to tell you the bad news. The bad news is there's two sides to Google. The bad news is there are two sides to Google. Side number one is what you know, which is YouTube recommendations. That's what you see on the surface. So based on that, they can say, well, Google is following the rules because, Google itself doesn't, YouTube specifically, the YouTube side of Google is respecting your privacy by not tracking all of your watch history and all of that on YouTube to say what political side you're on. Because most of us now watch mostly YouTube, we don't watch TV, and so they can easily profile you politically and so on. I know WeFuCan doesn't fucking care. I don't care that WeFuCan doesn't fucking care. But I'm going to tell you right now that if they did not do this, if YouTube did not allow you to delete your search history and your watch history, and they completely kept it in the database, they can easily then find out what anyone's political belief is, because as it turns out, we can't resist. We got to watch something we believe in. Okay, it's something that is just. Some people asked me last night, said, I wanted to follow your example last night, and I want to watch the other side to screw up the AI, and they can't do it. They can't do it. They can't watch the other side. So there's the reality. The reality is that we don't want to watch the other side. We only want to watch our side. Okay? So some of you can't stand it. Some of you can't stand looking at Trump. Some of you can't stand looking at Pelosi. Okay? Some of you can't stand looking at Clinton. Some of you can't stand looking at, some Alex Jones. So, okay? So yes, so WeFuCan is now profiled. They know exactly that this particular computer likes these kinds of things, and in his case, porn and women and whatever else is on his computer. So they profiled him from that. Now, fortunately, with respect to YouTube itself, all you have to do is clear the cookies and clear the history from the Google settings, and they will actually start to clear it out. At least that's what, I don't know if they keep a backup of it, but at least to what's visible to you, they've cleared it. They claim they cleared it. Do they really clear it? I have no idea. They could have a backup of it, and they still know. They still know what WeFuCan does. Okay. Now, let's go on with the bad news. The bad news is there's another side to Google. Hello, Sparky. There's another side to Google, and the other side to Google is Google Ads, AdSense, DoubleClick, all of these little ad companies that are part of the insertion into every website, including YouTube. In fact, they're easily. I'm going to go to YouTube right now. Hold on. I'm going to change. You can stay here while I go look at YouTube, and I'm going to sign in to my. I'm going to sign into my Google account. And since I have Privacy Badger, oops, hold on. Hard to do this one-handed too. First, the screen is so tiny, and then I got to do it one-handed. I can't, it's so bright, I can't see the screen. Okay, hold on. Why isn't it taking it? Oh, wrong account. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, so I'm talking about the other side of Google and has to do with these ad companies. As it turns out, Privacy Badger can see all the little trackers that are occurring on YouTube. And in fact, here it is. I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to flip the screen and show you what Privacy Badger is detecting here. Okay, here's Privacy Badger. I'm going to move it to the left so you can see it. And there, it found Google Ads and Pub Ads. You see that? DoubleClick.net. Those are trackers, and they're blocked by Privacy Badger. Now, what do these trackers do? These trackers are detected. That Google actually, Privacy Badger allows cookies. It doesn't ban cookies per se. What it does is finds out if a tracker is doing cross-domain tracking, meaning are they tracking what you're doing in multiple domains? So if you go to Facebook, if you go to YouTube, if you go to some other website, it will then start tracking what you do on all of the website. That's what that does. It found out that these things are spotting you. Now, let me just tell you, because you may not understand how these things work. Okay, these things that you're looking at are actually tracking you by browser fingerprinting, meaning the cookies and such don't really matter. They're not tracking you. Let me go back to my face again here. They're not tracking you by cookies. They're tracking you by browser fingerprint. They're much more advanced. So they actually are recording everything you're clicking on and doing. And then this is the real problem that we are dealing with. These are the companies that are actually tracking your locations and selling them, tracking what websites you visit, tracking what you do on your mobile phone constantly, and then selling it. And they're doing it by identifying you with your browser fingerprint, meaning it is identifying the device. Secondarily, it will use your IP address and your login, depending what it is you're doing, and then use that as indexes to identify who you are. So the fact that WeFuCan is not concerned, WeFuCan does not have to be concerned. I'm zucking concerned because you cannot turn this zucking thing off. Okay, how do you prevent this? Yes, you can erase your cookies and that'll clear what you do on YouTube, but these other trackers can't be stopped effectively. One of the ways that you can stop them on a on and it's not a global way to stop it. That's one of the problems. One of the ways that you can stop it is if you're using a browser, you can use Brave on your mobile. Okay, one of the yes, and a VPN, of course, is going to prevent them from matching the information they know about you to your IP address, which will match to your actual location. Hello, Van. Okay, so the problem is when you're using apps, the apps are doing the browser fingerprinting in the browser on the app. Every app that runs is typically using a browser. So if you're running Facebook, it's running its own browser. It's actually using Safari on iOS. It's called WebView. And it's using the browser built into the phone that can be used by apps. That's the same way the Braxme works. Okay? So there is a browser. Whether you like it or not, you are using a browser. Now, so it's an issue because there's really no way to turn it off. There's really no way to turn it off. So yeah, so we forget that, well, you can't, so let's not care. Well, you know, again, I don't really care what you care about. I'm just telling you what I care about. And if you want to pay attention to me, you can either pay attention to WeFuCan or you can pay attention to me. It's up to you. I mean, you know, it's an open society. Everyone's welcome to give their comments and you can do whatever you want. One thing that's just an example. Braxme does not have trackers. Braxme doesn't have trackers, so Braxme is not tracking your locations and all that. Your devices. Now, I don't care about silly things, wasted time. Okay, so WeFuCan doesn't care. I care. Again, it's up to you. If you don't care, let somebody know exactly what you do. Not of my business. Do whatever you want. None of my business, WeFuCan. Do whatever you want. Free society. Now, I told you how to make it difficult for them to do it on the phone. Because what you're worried about are apps. Okay, to prevent them from doing these kinds of tracking to the extent that they're doing it, this is how you reduce it. I've already told you this, and I will tell you again now. Go into privacy settings. This is on iPhone for the moment. Okay, this is on the iPhone. I actually don't know what the setting is on Android, but here's on iPhone. On iPhone, you go to privacy. Okay, so you go to settings, then you go to privacy. Okay, then you go to location services. Let me repeat that again. So settings, privacy, location services. Scan down to the bottom. It says system services. And there are 3 of them that you gotta turn off. You must turn them off. And these are location-based alerts, location-based Apple ads, location-based suggestions. Must turn that off. If you do not turn that off, this thing is continuously recording your location and they will sell it. They will sell the location. You can't stop them from selling it. So somebody has all of the places that WeFuCan has been to. He doesn't care. Again, it's up to you. You care or not care, that's your business. But somebody has a location track, not only of all the websites that he's visited, but every place he's physically visited because of this phone, unless he changed the setting based on what I said. He probably did change it, but if you don't change it, then you should change it to what I just said, okay? So I've actually turned most of mine off. Most of my my settings on my phone are off on system services. Again, let me repeat. You're Android, and you think that actually works. Okay, so again, let me try again. Okay, settings, This is an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, then this is not the answer. Settings, privacy, location services. At the bottom of location services, system services. And then there you get location-based alerts, location-based Apple ads, location-based suggestions. At the bottom of location services, you get system services. That will stop many apps from collecting the data. And then obviously you have to turn location off on an app-by-app basis. Okay, that will at least take the location side out of the equation, because Weefukan is actually wrong. He's saying that that he's using some spoofing, IP spoofing thing that will spoof a location to be North Korea, and it doesn't actually work because of browser fingerprinting. With a combination of Wi-Fi triangulation and browser fingerprinting, it doesn't actually work. So what you're trying to do here is just stop Apple from sending it to the third-party apps. Now, is Apple tracking? Yes. Is Apple tracking you? Yes. Is Google tracking you? Yes. Can you turn that off? No. No, there's no way. If you have a mobile phone, you're Zuck. Sorry. No Enlighten Up, if you do not check the settings that I just told you, they were not made available until new iOS versions. So if you did not go into the subsetting of system services like I just said, it is sending that data. I don't have a way of stopping browser fingerprinting. So what I need to explain is what I'm trying to do here is how do you confuse, we're trying to confuse the AI here. How do you confuse the AI? The AI is using browser fingerprinting. The AI, then it may be sending your data and lighten up. That's a disadvantage of not being on a new iOS. It doesn't have the setting to prevent that. If you are not on a newer, I don't recall when they start doing this. If this is on 11 something or 12, I'm not certain. I only discovered it on 12. No, it doesn't help Weefukan because you cannot stop browser fingerprinting. Well, it does help, but it's not enough to. You got to take other steps. I know you don't care, so okay. Just I don't need to convince you. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, so anyway, here's what we're trying to do, because there's some of this that we cannot stop. We cannot stop it, unfortunately. I don't have any good news for you. Okay. I don't have any good news for you in general on this, except partial. I'm telling you right now, I am not trying to stop Apple and Google from tracking you, because I don't know how to do that. There's actually no way to stop Google and Apple from tracking you because there's no off switch to the location built into the device. There is no off switch. What's his name? Snowden doesn't carry a phone because he knows you can't turn it off. The rest of us, including me, because I'm a software developer for apps and I have to have a phone, and so I'm forced to use it. I'm forced to now trust Apple and Google that they will not use this information in a bad way, which obviously I do not. It has nothing to come on, Weefukan. How many times have you watched me? I've already told you the GPS has nothing to do with it. You have to pull out the Wi-Fi from your Zucking phone. Can you do that? Pull out the Wi-Fi. GPS is not part of the equation. They don't even use the GPS. Pull out the Wi-Fi because there's no way to turn off promiscuous mode that does the triangulation using Wi-Fi triangulation. There's no way to do it. Systems privately, when somebody needs to sell a phone without a Wi-Fi.
course, they will track you on the data, but it's at least not as precise. So yeah, somebody needs to sell a phone without any Wi-Fi on it. Because I'm not a hardware guy, Van. I use some of the tinfoil from their hats to wrap the phone. Okay, so I cannot stop Apple and Google from collecting the data. Okay, so back to what I'm saying. So you can stop third-party apps from collecting the data. That's why the location settings. No, the old phones don't work with 4G LTE. So you're kind of stuck because they're dropping the 3Gs and all that. So a lot of the old phones are 2G. And a lot of the 2Gs are already dropped. They don't work anymore. Okay? So, no. Not that kind of hardware guy. Phone Blue has no Wi-Fi. You need a phone that is 4G without Wi-Fi. Well, that doesn't help enlighten up. Whether it's 3G or any kind of G, it's not a good thing. So, anyway. So if it's a normal phone with Wi-Fi in it, it's doing Wi-Fi triangulation. Wi-Fi triangulation cannot be tricked into spoofing programs that spoof IP, VPNs, all that. None of that can spoof Wi-Fi triangulation. It will know where you are by Wi-Fi triangulation. Now, if you turn off location, in essence, you are trusting Apple and Google not to share your location that they know to the third parties. The setting I just told you about is actually the permission to send to the third-party apps. Kind of silently, actually not even the third-party apps, but the trackers. The trackers are the ones that we want to stop. The trackers are inserted as ads in apps. The apps themselves may not be tracking you. The trackers in the apps do. It's part of the advertising. So a lot of apps with advertising are doing these tracker things. They're selling that data. I've told you before. You can buy anyone's location data. And what you want to do now is say, well, they may have location data of somebody holding a phone like this, but they don't know who you are specifically. That's where the VPN helps. You cannot stop the data collection, but you can stop them from knowing who precisely you are. That's where the VPN helps. So WeFuCan said he uses a double VPN. Yes. So step 2 prevents the data from being attributed to a particular person. All they know is there's a person out there with a phone on these locations. Can they derive your information from that with a VPN? Yes, probably. Because they can see where you are constantly. Then they'll track a residence. A little bit more difficult though. It's not as direct. An IP address is a more direct way of tracking you, because anybody can walk into your house. The mailman walks around your house and will have your address too. So that doesn't. It's a little bit more imprecise because a lot of people walk in and out of certain areas. Now, as far as what the VPN does, then the VPN then prevents the matching of the collected data that they are selling and attaching it to a name. That's why I always have a VPN on, because I can't stop them from collecting. I don't have a way to stop it right now. The only way to stop it is not to bring a phone, not to have a phone. And we wouldn't be on Periscope here if we didn't have a phone. So we're kind of stuck. So if we're kind of stuck with this, then our only choice right now is to at least prevent them from putting an identifier with your exact name on it. And the answer, that's handled by a VPN. Okay? Now, does this have anything to do with YouTube? Yes. So the problem is all of the YouTube videos have trackers. So what I'm telling you is, yes, I can stop the YouTube recommendations from being influenced by what you watch. However, the advertising that pops up on YouTube probably cannot be stopped from identifying you if you do not have some other protection, just like the VPN, little settings that I put on there, a privacy badge and all this. If you have all of the above, then they'll get a little bit more confused, and I would imagine that the advertising is not going to be as focused. If you are seeing very specific targeted marketing on your YouTube ads, so if you're watching YouTube and the ads are very targeted to you, then you should worry. Okay, you should worry. And unfortunately, ad blockers may block the ads from displaying, but it doesn't block them from tracking you. The ad blockers just blocks the ad from showing up. It doesn't stop them from knowing what it is that you do. This is kind of the bad news. I don't really have a lot of good news on this, because we don't have a full solution to any of this. The good news is at least that Google, at least when it comes to YouTube, has indicated that they're going to respect your data without concerning themselves about the ad portion, whereas Facebook does not care. Facebook does not care. Facebook's attitude is, we got your real name. We're going to track you till hell freezes over. And we love tracking you. And we don't really care about you and your privacy. And we don't really care about the GDPR. We're going to keep tracking you. And we'll just say, we got your permission. Okay, so if I'm going to compare it, Google at least is saying, wow, if we don't do this, we're going to have an issue. So they've at least responded in a way that said, okay, we're going to moderate our privacy issues with YouTube and so on, whereas Facebook is saying, we don't care. So if I'm going to, make a comparison, I would say, how does tracking affect me at a personal level? As I already said a couple of scopes ago, Anthony knows, you don't need to worry about it. Because most millennials don't seem to care that somebody knows everything about you. Somebody's selling all of your information about what you do, what you watch, what kind of media you consume, what porn you watch, what kind of politics you have, and you're saying, well, this doesn't affect me any kind of a way. It really doesn't. If you don't think it affects you in any kind of way, have fun. I'm going to tell you the reality, though. If I were a politician and I knew everyone's political beliefs, be aware that I can manipulate you. And you said, and you're going to say, I can't be manipulated. This is what my niece said. I can't be manipulated. I have critical thinking. It's like, Zuck. Somebody is tracking everything you're doing, every belief, every point, every opinion, and you're saying that you have critical thinking. I guess your thinking isn't very critical because you don't understand how that data can be used. So somebody at Cambridge Analytica, this was the data stolen from Facebook from the elections, said, we are going to use the data from Facebook to come up with a personality profile of 200 million Americans. They actually came up with a personality profile, and it can find out if you're introverted, extroverted, if you're gullible, if you're all of these little things, the personality traits that they figured out. And they said, how do we manipulate the advertising to manipulate these people? And they were doing that. Now, they weren't advanced enough to go use that information in a way that can send data to you. But if I know what kind of personality you have, all I have to do is find out what your trigger point is. I'm going to trigger you in some way, and I'm going to cause insurrection. I'll say, let's cause a revolution in the United States by pitting people against each other, which they are doing. And your answer is, oh no, this doesn't affect me in real life. People. At what point do what I'm saying makes sense? You can be affected in real life because what you see in the Zucking news, what shows up on your computer, what shows up on your emails, what shows up in your work, what shows up when people react to you is based on what they know about you. Now, when you go to your employer and look for a job, they are looking at this stuff that I'm telling you. This is for sale. And Tony knows. I'm just telling you right now. Whatever you do on the sucking internet, including all these so-called ads that you don't get to be concerned about, are being sold to your employer. One of the companies selling it is Intellius. They're selling that to your employer. If you don't think this is true, go ask your HR department and see if somebody is actually watching your activities on social media. When you get fired from what you're doing in social media because you're being too political, don't ask me and say, well, I didn't know about that. Why are they doing that? As an employer, they can do anything they fucking want. Wefu Ken checks out people before he rents to them. This is a basic thing now. Now the problem is the amount of information that's out there that you cannot delete is more massive than you think. Now to think that it actually, no, it's more that Tony knows everything you do on the internet. Everything, including locations. Everything you do with your mobile phone. Every location, every click, every porn site, everything. If you don't take any precautions, somebody's collecting all that. Every post on Facebook, every post on Twitter, every post anywhere. With your IP addresses and everything else. This is all being collected. They actually are selling the information on your locations. I told you specifically how this was used on Tesla. They wanted to know who worked for Tesla, how many people work for Tesla, so they actually went to a third party and tracked all the phones on Tesla. And they were able to do this by the ads in 1,000 of the top apps in the Zucking world. And they found out everybody's location from these 1,000 apps that are selling your data. So everyone's in on it. Everyone's in on it. And the reaction of the young people is like, I don't really care. This doesn't really bother me. This doesn't have any impact on my life. It has a lot of impact on your life because you can't delete this. Just think to yourself, are you a perfect person? Even if you're perfect, is it interesting if somebody knows everything about you, including what religion you practice and what your political beliefs are? Is that part of the employment agreement? Well, how about insurance companies rating you based on your behavior? What if you can't get health insurance and life insurance because they looked at your social media activity and say, well, this guy drinks a lot. He's going to get into an accident. We don't want this guy. And this is going to be subtle stuff. You're not going to even know. You just get rejected, or maybe they raise the premium. You think things stay the same? Will they come after you? What will they come after you for? So what is your advice? I'm giving you advice to protect some of your data. It's not absolute, unfortunately, but we need to mess them up, mess up the AI, mess up the process. So you got to put precautions in every device you have, which I showed you some at the beginning of the scope. You have to have a VPN. You have to turn off location settings wherever you can. You got to put certain things like I told you, Privacy Badger on my computer. You have to use DuckDuckGo or StartPage.com. You have to clear history. You got to do all this. It's difficult. Snowden doesn't carry a phone. Snowden knows, and it's hard, but Snowden doesn't carry a phone because if he does, then somebody will whack him. He knows somebody will whack him if he carries a phone because they'll know where he lives and so on. So when he goes and meets journalists, he's very careful. He has to act like a spy. Is that the kind of life you want to live? And it's really hard, Now for me, I look at this. You got to look at this as kind of a fun thing. Make it a game, because we can't fight the system completely here. So we make it like a game. Now, one of the things that I'm very concerned about, if you want to really find out the best way to protect yourself on the internet, I'll just say a couple things, and this is really not that complicated. Okay? This is not really that complicated. This is the thing I'm just going to tell you. Do not use your real name in social media. Terminate any kind of account that uses your real name. Use a VPN. Now, what is the effect of what I'm saying? What is the effect of what I'm saying? The effect of what I'm saying is that they may collect data on you. They may collect data on you, but they actually won't know who you are. You don't have Facebook, Anthony? You don't have Facebook? Lucky guy. So if you don't use your real name on social media, that is, in itself, one of the most basic protections you can use. Yes, but you're known. If you're on Facebook, you're known because your friends are using a real name, and you can't do this. You can't go to Facebook, use a real name, and go change it to some other name. That doesn't work. The only way to do it is to terminate your account. So I'm going to tell you that 99% of you on Zuckbook, you are Zuck. Nothing else to. How do we scrape the net like you have? And then there's facial recognition. I'm not even talking about that. Not even talking about facial recognition. This is a tough world we live in here. Tough world, and it's not a lot of perfection in what I'm saying. It's not a lot of, but never use and never show my face. Yes, but your friends know who you are. And so every photo that you ever posted on Facebook has a location on it. And using intersection of locations and contact lists, they'll find out who you are anyway just from being on Facebook. You forgot about contact lists, Anthony. Contact lists imported on Facebook. The New World Order is manifesting. This is why I can't really, I'm telling you, the evil is at Facebook. So I'm realizing that as long as you don't really use your real name on YouTube, YouTube is actually turning out to be not so bad. I was kind of afraid to use YouTube, but now that I know how it works, YouTube is actually not so bad. It's ending up to be not much different than Periscope. YouTube is not so bad. Facebook Live is zocked up, people. Facebook Live, zocked up with your real name on there. Zuck. No, YouTube owned by... Yes, of course YouTube is owned by Google. But with all the things that Google's doing to allow you certain rights, then it seems to be not as bad as from my investigation so far. It's just as, it's equal to other social media. I have a YouTube channel too, and not under my real name. Follow me then under BraxMe. Follow me on YouTube. My name, my account is BraxSpaceMe. I'm Rob Braxman. My account on YouTube is BraxMe, and I also have a Rob Braxman on there, but not enough followers. So follow me on YouTube as Rob Braxman. So anyway. There's not a lot of perfection in what I'm saying. It's not absolute. We don't have a guarantee that we're going to be safe. But this is all I can say. Is that based on my investigations here, YouTube is not so bad. If you clear cookies, YouTube is not so bad. Now you got to deal with the ad trackers. That's a different problem. The ad trackers are very bad. So I'm using EFF.org on a laptop here. The question is, what do I do on how do I stop the trackers on mobile if I'm using the YouTube app? I don't actually know. That's one of the mysteries. So again, my comment about YouTube is based on what I just tested here. I tested it all day to see what is tracking, what is not tracking, and so I'm giving you the pluses and minuses. The ad trackers from Google are very bad. Well, the deleting the app is what it does is delete the cookie. That's the same thing as erasing the cookie. You don't have to delete the app. It's just erasing the cookie. So that's basically what you're doing. If you delete the app, you erase the cookies, and and erasing the browsing history. So is it really doing anything special? Not much more than that. Does it stop the tracker ads? No. So we're still very vulnerable to the tracking ads, and they're owned by Google as well. They're called Google Ads. So the Google Ads, which are not necessarily just YouTube, they're everywhere on the internet. The Google Ads are pretty bad. So the YouTube portion of it is okay. The Google Ads portion is not okay. So it's not clear how you're going to stop them on mobile. What is that going to do? You're using mobile. What does Chrome have to do with it? Okay, now let me tell you about Chrome and the pluses and minuses of Chrome. I use Chrome because what's the difference? All the browsers are the same. Chrome actually is open source, or Chromium, which is what Chrome is based on, is open source. So there aren't going to be any kind of big mysteries of what's in Chrome because it's an open source app. Now, they're not hiding what it does, so I'm going to tell you what it does. The main concern I have with Google versus Firefox. Okay, how do I see social media in 5 years? I'm hoping there'll be some pushback. You know, I made an app called Brax.me, and Brax.me is the opposite. It tries not to track you. It's hard to make that kind of thing popular because, people want to be tracked and people want their lives to be shared. And I'm doing the opposite on Brax.me. So I don't know if the pushback is enough to make apps like mine popular. I have no idea. But I'm certainly trying. So back to what I'm saying about the Google Ad part of this. If Google Ads can be stopped, we're gonna maybe there's some app that I haven't discovered yet that will quietly detect Google Ads on any app, meaning like kind of like a VPN. Stop it at the internet side, not at the app side, but stop it from the internet, and then see if it's an ad tracker in there and disrupt it at the level of the internet connection. So there have been some claims that is being done. I have no idea if it's actually working, but we need to actually manipulate at that level because we don't know. Now I'm going to tell you something that Snowden knows. Because Snowden was trying to build a device. He knows you cannot turn off location in this. He knows that there's no way to turn off the tracking that occurs because Apple and Google will track you based on this silently getting Wi-Fi triangulation without you doing anything. He knows that. So what Snowden tried to do was put a electronic sensor that sees if there's any electronic signals leaking out of the device when you don't want it to leak out. So this is one of the things that he did as a project where you put something into this device that can stop electromagnetic kind of activity, and then you'll know if it's tracking you, and then to prevent it from doing so. I don't know. Fresh inverse. I'm going to say this. Some of you just spent Christmas by yourselves this holiday season, many of you, in fact, here in Periscope, you were by yourself on Christmas season. And if you did not have social media, many of you would be so depressed. But many of you had friends on social media, and you were able to feel like some of you are, bedridden. Some of you are ill, and some of you are alone because you're not near your family and you're maybe new at your location. And no, I use all Fidesz-Salo. I use all of them. Use browser isolation by using multiple browsers. Separate your activities by browser. So if it weren't for social media, many people would feel very, very sad. So I'm saying to you, and I've talked to some of you over the holiday season, and some of you got depressed, being alone for the holidays. And I think that there's a lot of value in that. Look at Steve from Florida, who just died 2 days ago. Steve from Florida, our good friend. Okay. Steve from Florida was living in Florida, and he came from New York, and he basically created a friendship with so many people here on Periscope and Braxme and so on. And he made many, many friends on social media, and he felt so fulfilled because he had so many friends. He was able to visit different parts of the country and meet people. Hello, Brenda. And so it was quite a big value to him to have social media. But Steve also knew what the problems were with social media, and he would actually promote a lot of the stuff that I talk about. And he promotes VPNs and my Tor routers, and he talks about the stuff that I talk about. And as much as he was in social media, he didn't use his real name, and he was very concerned that he was communicating that correctly to people. So yes, social media is a boon to us personally. It's a boon to us personally because it allows us to interact with people that we don't normally interact with. And same with me. I certainly did not interact as much as I do now. If it weren't for social media, I'd probably just tend to be a quiet person otherwise. And here I am, active every night, broadcasting and doing this. So video and media interaction, social media last. So yes. So I obviously I want that part of it to continue, but with less of the dangers. If Facebook did not see Facebook itself, let me just tell you about the danger of Facebook. Facebook itself, if it didn't have any advertising and allowed you to actually have privacy settings where people don't actually see your data unless you're actually connected in some way, it wouldn't be as dangerous as it is now, because it asks you for real name, real information, real birth date. It was always bothersome to me that they would ask for such direct information about you. The model itself is very, very bad once they open it up and said, okay, apps can access the data, you can share, you can be stolen, and so on and so forth. And then we want to collect more and more of your data without your knowledge or your permission. And they start collecting your location data and everything you did. And they said, we don't care about you and your feelings about privacy. We don't care about that. We're just going to keep doing it. And that's actually that is why I think that Facebook is going to have a problem. Now, in other social media, when you don't use your real name, nothing really connects you in as a direct a way as you do on Facebook, because Facebook connects you to family and locations. Facebook is the only one that does that. Somebody asked me if Instagram was that dangerous. The only danger Instagram is it's connected to Facebook. The main danger of Instagram is that because it's in the same exact physical database location as Facebook, that they connect your Facebook data with your Instagram data and they connect your WhatsApp data with your Facebook data. But what if you did Instagram by itself and you never actually use Facebook? What if you don't have a Facebook account and you only use Instagram and you use the same kind of VPNs and all the different things that I'm telling you to protect yourself? What would happen to your life on Instagram? Would Instagram be as bad? Actually, it probably would not be as bad. How do I pronounce that? Zuck. Forget now. I always say Bonzoix. And Facebook never erased. It's still there if you log in. Yes. So I think that the model of Facebook is how are you doing? How are you doing, Bonzoix? Welcome back. My dog has a Facebook account still. So not all social media is the same. I think that those in love with Facebook, to me, notice I'm not harping on YouTube as much because I've tested the YouTube one. Doesn't seem to be storing my data. So YouTube does not appear at the moment to be storing my data. Well, that's first time in my life I actually can say something positive about anything. So I've not seen any evidence that they're not following what they say when you do your privacy settings on Google and actually turn all off the history and you pause the location setting and all that. I've not seen evidence that they're not following that at the moment. So I'm going to say, there's some positive stuff here for change. I've not seen anything positive, in a while. And you still, yes, Bonzoix, come on over to Brax and talk there. So I'm yes, VPN, Bytes VPN by Rob Braxman. Bytes VPN by Rob Braxman. Yes, of course, Bonzoix. I got a ton of Tor routers. I also have a VPN, bytesvpn.com, which has Tor routing built into it. You can choose the hardware version or you can choose the software VPN version of a Tor router. So Bytes VPN is the Tor routing version. I mean the software version. The hardware version is physical. You think of Bonzoix every time you have ramen. So anyway, it's a very, very, and I don't get a discount. Yes, you have to take precautions because we can't really trust anyone here. But I'm so careful. I'm always on a VPN, even on my phone. And everyone in my house has to be on a VPN. And even when visitors came into the house, I put a VPN on their phones. So I got to have a VPN. So I'm running a VPN right there. Well, you can't see it, but I'm running a VPN on my phone. I'm running a VPN as I'm doing this broadcast. I just, don't need them to know too much detail about what I do. It scares me. So you gotta take some precautions here. And it's still imperfect even with that. And I'm telling you that the biggest imperfection is not necessarily you stop using YouTube, but it seems to me that it's still clear that the number one problem on social media is still Facebook. I don't think that's changed. It's even more clear to me that Facebook is the number one problem. If you don't use your real name on social media, you can interact. Just take some other precautions. If you're using your real name on social media, rethink all that. Bon Zoix has good news. Okay, don't DM. You do a Brax chat. Do a Brax chat. Don't DM. We don't do we don't do DM. DM is Twitter. If you do it on Twitter, then it is public, even though it's a DM, because that's public. You're telling me too late. Brenda G. Nobody knows who you are. You're just Brenda G. Brenda G. You go to your account on Periscope and change it. You can do this on Facebook. You can't. You have to watch new Black Mirror. What happened to the old Black Mirror? Hello, Peter. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not monitoring the comments on Brax. My goodness, what my mistake here. I got so focused. Brax automatically starts now. When I do a broadcast here on Periscope, it automatically starts monitoring on Brax. And I was so, goodness, I wasn't even, my phone turned off and I wasn't, oh my gosh, I screwed up. So I was looking at comments from YouTube, looking at comments on here, and I did not look at comments on Brax. I'm so sorry. Somebody should have reminded me. Okay, here. I'm here now. Saw it halfway, we'll finish the rest. Okay, I see. Okay, there's Peter on Brax. Okay, I see the comments. I see the comments in Brax now. Okay, so Angel and so on. Okay, so now I'm on Periscope. Okay, so there, I'm monitoring. Goodness, so sorry about that. I forgot. I needed a different device. So I am monitoring comments on YouTube, monitoring comments on Periscope, and monitoring comments on Brax. And if you're a Periscope VIP, you can use Brax Live free stream. It's a feature in Brax. You don't even have to use Brax much. You just have to go in there, set up an account, and you can do restreaming. And if you're a Periscope VIP, you get a coupon code and you can do it for free. You need an admin. I'm trying to get this to be a habit, and there's so many different things I got to do. There's Dear God making a comment on Brax. So I'm trying to make it into a habit, and I'm not quite there yet. There's just little things that I gotta go figure out and learn. And so there's a lot of possible mistakes can be made. So I will keep improving as I do every broadcast. This is only the fourth broadcast using multi-streaming, and it's starting to improve slowly from each one as I do this. Starting to improve. Okay, so in conclusion, we can say the conclusion to my scope today is that happy to say that at least the YouTube portion of our privacy is not so bad, because you can clear the cookies, and it seems to, and if you set the pause all the history and location and all that on YouTube, it seems to not profile you. Okay, and actually, I actually went to the extreme here to see. I actually I actually didn't know. I didn't know there was nudity on. Did you know that there's nudity on YouTube? I actually didn't know that. So for whatever reason, I found that there is nudity on YouTube. So I started watching some of these movies on YouTube that had nudity on it, and then I'd watched several of them to see if it affected my profile, and it did not. In fact, it still doesn't come out after I clear the cookies. So then I said, okay, let me do political searches on one side only to see if that's going to do it. It did not once I cleared the cookies. Okay? Twist Mint so we will monitor this, but at the moment it's really not too bad, and which makes me feel good because some of you are making comments and such on YouTube, and if we notice not too bad, then it's not so scary. So we can all be prevs and no problem. Okay, Brenda, let me just look at your profile here. Okay, Brenda, you should really take off the last name in there, or use an alternate last name, which is easy enough. It's not part of your handle. So I would, you're on YouTube because you watch the Flat Earth vids. I don't have to go to YouTube for that. There's Flat Earth on Brax. There's Flat Earth aficionados on Brax. On here, Brenda, your account here has your last name, and you can easily remove that. Easily remove it, and that'll be already part of the solution. If you're on Facebook with the same name, I would suggest that you use a different picture. Of course, I don't know your YouTube. I'm looking only at scope. I'm clicking on your profile here on Periscope, and I see your last name is on there. That's one thing that you should figure out too. We'll talk about this more later on. But everyone should try to see if you have a real name in any one of your social media. Well, I advise you at this moment to not use the same picture. In fact, if let's say that you're on Facebook with your real face on there, you cannot change the profile picture on Facebook because it keeps all the profile pictures that you had in the past. So that's not going to work. This is how disgusting Facebook is. It really just it doesn't really give you any solutions here. Facebook doesn't give you any options. They are so intent on spying on you that they really don't want to give you any out. Twitter scope does in his no, they don't directly store it. No. They don't directly, I'll change mine later this morning. They don't directly store it, no. No, you can actually search for anything that has a incorrect name, and then you can go delete that from YouTube, so that you can actually do it. Haven't been on Facebook for months and months. It doesn't matter that you're not there for months and months. You're still being tracked just by having a Facebook account. Any app that allows deletion puts you in a good position. I found that I can delete old videos from YouTube. I found that I can delete posts from YouTube, from Google, and so on. Google allows me to delete. So maybe they only did this for GDPR, but whatever it is, at the moment, the side effect is good because I can actually clean up my act if I forget something on on Google. That is not an option on Facebook. That's why it's so evil to be on Facebook. So evil. All of the issues with doxing and safety are really tied to Facebook. If Facebook didn't exist, we wouldn't have as much of a problem. LinkedIn is very bad. So if you have a LinkedIn, I would advise that you don't connect anything. Don't use a related picture. LinkedIn you can delete though. You are allowed to delete. So you can replace a photo, change your name slightly. You can do all that on LinkedIn. That actually works. I tried that. It worked. And when you delete your account on LinkedIn, it really is deleted. I can't find it anymore. So it's not as bad as Facebook. Facebook you can't delete. It's just the way Zuck wants it. So he wants to manipulate so much that it's he doesn't have any sense of balance. Yes, no Facebook, no LinkedIn. If you're forced to have LinkedIn, then make sure that you do not have any connection to any other social media. Don't use the same email. Don't use the same photos. Obscure your photo a little bit on LinkedIn so they don't connect. They're not going to store the old photo. I lost the email I created LinkedIn with, so can't delete. Yeah, that can be that happened to me too. But for some reason, I was able to remember the password and I was able to come in. So I forgot what it was, and then I, tried a few times, and then and I was able to get into LinkedIn. I was able to delete it. Yes, Zuckerberg's still in charge. I'm just telling you, the evil that is Facebook is not the same as everything else. It's just everything I told you is not at the same level of importance. The Facebook side of this just totally does not match my experience right now with I don't know, I'm not on LinkedIn anymore, and lighten up. I can tell you right now that the YouTube experience is surprisingly positive, in the sense that I don't feel any minus the trackers which exist on multiple websites. I don't feel like I'm in extra danger from using YouTube, which is telling you, that was a fear. What about that British lord that was taking over Facebook? I don't know. May have to post a story on Brax Me so I know what you're talking about. So this week I've been concentrating on Google. Now there are not all good news on Google because the big fear is this company that they have called Jigsaw. So, but at least from some of these things that we use all the time, which is YouTube is becoming our new television. And as long as they're able to do marketing still and do advertising on YouTube, they seem to be happy, and they're not as aggressive as Facebook is to want to know everything about their customers to the extent that Facebook does. So at the moment, it's yes, you're tracked by advertisers, but it's not at the same risk level as you do have on Facebook. So that's positive news. So, and now that I'm using YouTube more, and I'm broadcasting this on YouTube right now, I'm glad that I am not going to be as concerned about YouTube, other than the fact that you shouldn't be using your real name. Okay, and try to disconnect your. If you have accounts on social media with your real name, find some way to separate it from your real name, because we can't help but be. What about station apps like CBS All Access? I don't know. It's app by app basis, but if you don't use your real name and your real email on it, and you have a VPN or Tor router, then obviously that's already helping you protect yourself. So there's, I got to put some more thought in what to do with on the app side, because the app side is not completely answered. There are still ways that they track us on an app that is not that obvious. Just like what they did with its ads and apps. So any app that has an ad on it, I'm sure CBS has that. Any app that has ads on it are likely tracking you through the ads. The ad company's tracking you. CBS doesn't care to track you, but the ad company that's putting the ads on CBS will track you. There's no doubt. Okay, so I will play one song here. Let me just play blues. That way I don't get into any recognizable melody. Yes, every website has ads, not just YouTube. The ads you have to worry about. Yes, that's you have to protect. Yes, DuckDuckGo browser is probably using an existing browser as a plugin, so it may be using just Firefox. I don't know what it's based on because I haven't researched, but most of these are just using an existing browser and just changing the they didn't write their own browser. They're using open source. So chances are they're going to either use Firefox or Chromium. Brave is based on Chromium. Happy New Year, guys. Careful not playing any recognizable melody when I do these tunes. Okay, so it's just blues. I just made it up. It's one of these things. Here, let's make up something else. Again, to remind those who are interested in doing the multicasting that I'm doing here, which is on YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, and BraxMe. You can do this using BraxMe, using the Brax Live feature of BraxMe, and it's available to all. All you have to do is have a level 1 premium account on Brax, and you can do it. If you're a Periscope VIP, I will give you a coupon code so it's free. And I'm offering this only for 30 days, so I will end this in January, and then you can't do it anymore for free. So if you're VIP, take advantage, because it's my money that you're spending, not yours. coming up, it's hard to remember a melody you just made up. So if you're just making up the melody, it's kind of hard. So maybe as time goes by, then I'll remember these fake melodies that I'm making here. Because I was just inventing them on the fly. So I'm using chord changes, then seeing if I can have a little melody that goes with it. So, if I can remember that melody. Okay, so anyway, yeah. So I have an app. Called Brax.me, and what is different about my app is that it's an app that's actually concerned about your privacy, and we do what we can to not invade your privacy. I'm actually simulcasting this on Brax.me right now, so you can watch me in Brax instead of here. And what is different is that if you're watching me on Brax, your comments are not visible to the public here. So if you want to make a comment in private, you can actually go to Brax and then make a comment on the live broadcast on there. A lot of people want to interact with the other people in here, so you go to Periscope. But if the topic is particularly sensitive and you want to say things like NSA, CIA, and all that, it's better to do it on Brax, since Brax is an encrypted platform. It's not going to go in Google, so it's not going to be searchable. So, and besides, we don't ask for your identity on Brax. It's, we don't do anything to track you. We don't store IP addresses and so on. So Brax.me is that. And recently I made Brax. I added the feature on Brax to do restreaming. There are many other options to restream, and I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be free. Okay. The restreaming option currently used by many is Restream.io. Restream.io does not transcode for free, and it doesn't work on Periscope accounts that have a phone number. So if you're going to if you have a Periscope account that has a phone number, you're Zuck. You can't use Restream.io for free. It's going to cost you a lot more. And if you need transcoding, and let me explain what transcoding is. Transcoding is when you have a broadcast coming from one device, in which case in my case, I'm using OBS, Streamlabs OBS, and I'm sending one stream out, and then it's sending multiple signals of different resolutions to different streaming companies. So I'm sending one to Twitch, I'm sending one to YouTube, I'm sending one to Periscope. Periscope is very picky about their setting. So often if you use Restream.io, you will be forced to use the lowest setting, which is 540 is the recommended size of the video for Periscope, which is very low resolution. And that resolution doesn't show well on an iPad, for example, nor on a computer. But on YouTube, you can go HD. And so if you want to be able to get the proper kind of audience on YouTube, you should have HD capability, in which case the only answer is Brax Live. Brax Live will send your highest resolution to YouTube and to Twitch, and will automatically send a low resolution version, so it runs on mobile, so that it runs on Enlighten's up 4S. You see what the problem that Periscope has? Periscope is forcing us to reduce the quality and resolution of the broadcast, so it works on all mobile devices, including some old ones. So if you are going on the approach that you're coming from Periscope and you're going to restream to YouTube and so on in a high resolution, it's not going to work. You use OBS. So if you can OBS your 360, then you can do it. You have to use OBS. Or Streamlabs OBS. Streamlabs OBS has mobile. So anybody who's interested in multicasting, this is a lot more complicated than you think, and if you're a VIP, there really is. This is a deal that you can't really. I don't understand why you're not flocking to it, because I'm offering you a free deal that you're not going to get on any other option. There's really no option that provides you with a high resolution way of broadcasting, that is with transcoding, for free. Or maybe most people just don't know how to use OBS, in which case then that's a different problem. Which case you should get your account on Brax upgraded to get it so you have 365 days. So do we need to download Restream OBS? What is Restream OBS? And like, no, I'm not sure what that is. What is Restream OBS? You're talking about Streamlabs OBS. No, Streamlabs is a different version of OBS for those people who want to do widgets. Otherwise, OBS works just fine. But one of the things I'm able to do with Streamlabs OBS is put the YouTube comments on the video. So the YouTube comments, I'll show you. I'm going to put a YouTube comment here. I'm going to put test 1, 2, 3. Okay, you can put a YouTube comment in my broadcast here. As you can see, there it pops up. And that's on YouTube. And so I can do that using Streamlabs. So that's a specific feature. So Streamlabs is just a version made from OBS. It's just from the same. What app do mobile scopers need to download? Streamlabs OBS. Streamlabs OBS. The problem is if you use Streamlabs OBS on mobile, then you can't see any comments. So if you want to see comments, you need a second device. And I don't have a solution for that. That's why Periscope is still the best for mobile only broadcasting. But if you're broadcasting from OBS already, as many of you are, then it really is to your benefit to be multicasting. Okay? So if you're already using OBS, then you should be multicasting, because so put Streamlabs OBS on both devices? No. You put it on the device where you want to do the broadcast, because you don't use Periscope to broadcast. But you need a second. Basically, it's just like if you have in order to broadcast multi-stream, you need a dedicated device just to be the camera. Unlike in Periscope, it's a camera as well as the comments. You can't do that with any other option, including Twitch, YouTube. None of them have that option. No, there's no need for any info because I'm not teaching how to use OBS. So all of you with a level 1 account on Brax, which is many of you old timers on Brax have a level 1 account, you can go to the Restream Brax.live Restream option and settings, and you can see the stuff you have to fill in there. And you just have to transfer that exact info, which is the URL, to Streamlabs OBS. That's pretty much, or to OBS. That's pretty much it. You just need the URL. This is basically how it works. You go to Brax, you fill in the settings and lighten up. Settings. Go to settings right now. Settings. Seen Bolton on major cyber attack and all the papers. I saw somebody. I saw Mike Tends to Travel with that title, but I wasn't tracking that. We should have a Brax convention in LA. You could teach tech. Nobody's going to come and watch me teach tech. Anyway, you go to settings on Brax and you will see it. Brax Live. You have to have a level 1 account or higher, which many of you have. Well, you don't have to do it right this moment. Just settings. Okay, let me just tell you what happens. You go to Brax and you go to settings.
and then it's called Brax Live Restream. Brax Live Restream is the menu option. You go click on that, and you put in your stream keys to Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch, as well as your channel ID. And then there's a link that you use for OBS. It's called your encoder URL and your encoder stream key. You just take those values and put it in OBS. That's it. That is it. And then you start OBS. You don't need to worry about what does Periscope want in the settings of OBS, which is kind of complicated. Summation for night use browser isolation and privacy badger and set your settings on Google privacy settings to not track your activities. Brax Live Restream, put in your stream keys for all the different platforms. Use the link at the top to put in OBS. And you don't have to worry about setting OBS setting. If you use Periscope, it's very difficult because Periscope says you have to have stream rate, CBR, 960 by 540, with so many, they have so many restrictions on Periscope. You don't have to care about any of that. The reason is Brax Live will take care of it for you. Send the highest signal you can send to Brax, and Brax will take care of it. So basically, aside from what I just said, which is the putting it into OBS, all of the settings you use for OBS are default. That's why you don't even need any special instructions. It's the default setting on OBS. I don't even set anything on OBS. It's so sucking simple, really. I take the streaming info from Brax, put it into OBS, hit stream, and then Brax Live will take care of the details. You don't even have to think about anything. Just have a good internet. And it only sends one signal. Yes, it's you can use Brax and Periscope only. Yes, you use there's it gives the option to the URL. There's some you can use Twitch and Periscope only, or YouTube only and Brax, Periscope and Brax only, Twitch and Brax only. You can yeah. So it actually simplifies it. So the most sophisticated thing you got to do on aside from learning how to use the basics of OBS, the only sophisticated thing you got to do is transfer the link over from Brax to OBS. That is it. Nobody's giving free privacy info like you did tonight, especially not Shills, Laporte, and Greek God. You're so awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not sure. It doesn't. It doesn't send YouTube video to Brax. Yes, you need Twitch or I'm sorry. In order to do Brax, you have to have Twitch or YouTube, one of those, because otherwise, it's not going to go show up on Brax. Brax doesn't do Periscope. Brax is not restarting for me today. Nothing to do with Brax. This must be just your internet. I don't have any issues. I mean, obviously, I was on Brax all day. So, Pastor Rob, I didn't know I was a pastor. What's my religion? What am I pastoring about? Religion or privacy? My internet has been sucky. Oh my gosh! Actually, my internet too is not perfect, and sometimes it shuts down, and I blame my VPN, but I know it's not the VPN.
because my VPN does not shut down. It's never shut down. So it's not my VPN. Then I know it must be the cable company. So the cable company occasionally the router the modem will hiccup, and then it'll take a few minutes for it to settle down, and then it works again. So I blame the zucking Russians. The zucking Russians. So anyway, hello boycott box. So glad to have you here tonight, and I will. It takes a solid 9 seconds. Wow, that's kind of slow. Are you using Tor? Tor might be slower, but 9 seconds? Well, there's a timeout on there. Maybe it's because there's a timeout. No, sir. Tunnelblick then is the one doing it, or OpenVPN? Which one? Doctor of Technocratology. It might say no Tor. Thank you guys. I mean, it's I appreciate it. I'm now that I'm on YouTube, I need to get a following on YouTube so that the people on the internet don't think that the only solution comes from Leo Laporte and Steve Gibson. We gotta get the straight story, because sometimes they don't tell you the whole story because they don't want to offend. I would have wanted to offend YouTube, if I could. If there's something that I so far I haven't found anything to get so upset about. So YouTube gets a fairly good score of not really spying on me, so that's good. The movement must grow. Yes. So I have not, all of my followers on YouTube is from Periscope. I do not have any organic followers on YouTube at all, 0. So which is kind of, I don't know how to build it up on YouTube, so it's going to come just from numbers. As you guys start to watch more of my videos, click on my videos and watch them on YouTube, so then it gives me minutes of watching in there, and hopefully they'll get somebody's attention. Securism, okay, people. I'll share. Thank you. Yeah. So let's get some activity on the YouTube side, so then hopefully someday then it'll get a new group of people to watch it. Bytes VPN does work flawlessly for me. I'm finding that whatever problems there are, it's not with the VPN itself. Sometimes it's a timeout on OpenVPN or Tunnelblick. Thank you for that, Brenda. I appreciate a follow on YouTube. I'm not getting that many follows in every broadcast. I'm getting 7 to 10 follows per broadcast, which is, I need 1,000 followers. I don't know if I'm even up to 200 yet. Maybe by now I'm up to 200, but goodness, this is such a slow pace here. So I need to get to 1,000 followers at least to get 201. I got over 200. Shocking. I got to over 200. Keep reminding everyone, yes. So BraxMe, my account on Twitter is, my account on YouTube is BraxMe. My account on Twitter is RobMusic0. 3,000, and I gotta have 4,000 hours watched before they pay attention to you. Takes time and dedication, yes. Well, it takes time and dedication to teach you stuff. And by the way, if there's anything you want me to talk about, please come to Brax and ask me, because I can start accumulating info about things that interest you. Okay? If it's interesting to you, and I get enough people interested in it, then I'll make a topic out of it. I haven't really talked about Google in a long time, so this is Google Week. So I will continue more aspects of Google, and then we'll get into the bad news about Google, which is Jigsaw. So we so far, you know, some aspects of Google, the advertising, Google ad stuff, is bad. But the, you know, if you can block that using the other stuff, is so far not been the worst. Okay, so you know, sometimes we need some good news. Okay, guys, so I and gals, I will see you tomorrow. I'm gonna be scoping tomorrow. Firewalls and antivirus. I did, you know, I scoped about antivirus in a big way. Come on, I last month I did nothing but talk about antivirus to tell you not to use your antivirus. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't stop up. Okay, so see you guys later. Good night. Thanks for being here.